Hello gamers, it's SoftKitty99 and today we're in Parkitect. Oh, this is interesting. See, that's interesting. I've got a gold medal according to that, but I haven't even started that park. Isn't that interesting? It's a little blip in the glyphics, I think there, so something not quite right there. Anyway, the last episode we did Pagoda Valley, and in the one before that we did Hickory Hill. So today's park is Kaiserberg, and again quite a difficult one to build in, so I didn't get the gold medal again for this one. Kaiserberg, the eccentric owner of this ski slope, wants to be prepared for climate change. It's rather unusual, but if you work with the steep terrain and ignore the cold, this remote location could serve as the site for a unique theme park. Have at least 450 guests in your park, have no loan debts, have an overall park rating of at least 75%, and your optionals. Have at least 200 guests in your park, which you'll need to do this one, because this is 450 anyway. So imagine you can get something nice for that, yeah? And optional, complete all non-optional goals by the end of December year 2, which of course I didn't manage to do. So let's take a look at the park that I built for Kaiserberg. Because it's all snowy, that means that the guests are more likely to not be quite happy, because you're going to need hot drinks and things, and they're going to want you to provide them with lots of places to be hidden under and walk under, and yeah, so you need to be a little bit more careful about making sure that you've got somewhere for them to hide from the weather and stuff. Right, so the entrance, right, so the goods in depot is down here, and I've added a staff room and a training room, and then right next to it of course we'll add a food court, because it just makes more sense to add that right next to it. And the entrance is right over here, so the entrance is here, and then the goods in is right at the corner opposite that, so that's quite good. And everything is white, look at it, it's all really wintry. So let's give you a quick overview. I have utilised a pre-built here, you can see that, for the go-karts. And if you look at this, we've got a little transport ride that goes all the way to the top of the hill. So that's basically what would have happened with the ski resort, isn't it? You'd come in, you'd go up the lift hill to the top, and then you'd ski down. But of course, because the guy doesn't want to use it as a ski resort now, that makes it a little bit awkward, because he couldn't turn this transport ride off, and people were getting really upset because they seem to have trouble coming back down. For some reason they seem to want to go up the ski lift, but then they can't get back down, and that caused me an awful lot of problems. So I ended up having to build a long walkway all the way from the top back down, because the transport only seemed to take people up. They didn't seem to come back down, though the ride does go up and down the hill. So I found that really odd, that people kept saying they were trapped at the top of the hill. But all that being trapped disappeared as soon as I built this long walkway all the way back down. Anyway, let's zoom in and take a closer look at what I built in the park. And I have to be honest, I was really glad to get this one done and dusted, because I found it really quite frustrating. It's the only one I really haven't had that much fun with, I must be honest. So this is Kaiserberg. So right inside, got to have an information kiosk, haven't we? And because it's such a cold terrain, the first thing that I've built inside is a 3D cinema, because that's all nice and inside, and I've made the colours so that it matches with the white, and then we've got the darker colour, of course. There's a beautiful contrast. But having the terrain all snowy is very different to what we've had before. But I have still used the foliage and things, because otherwise it just looks boring. But as you can see with the blobby trees, look, I've added some of the very pale sort of colours, so it kind of almost looks icy and maybe a bit frosty. But again, I've tried to keep everything fairly calm and neutral, and I've used the white sort of icy colour flowers, try and match it a little bit to these blobby trees around the edges, see? And I use some planter boxes, because in this sort of terrain, planter boxes and things is more likely to be what you'd have, because you'd plant the boxes and then when they flowered you bring them out, and then you could replant them and repot them as the year goes through. So that's kind of the thought that I went with as I was doing the foliage around the edges. Look, so you see lots of little planter boxes in different colours, little flowering plants in pots, little plant beds lifted up, see, to protect them from the frost and stuff. So The path here can go up in that direction, lots of map boards as well so people don't get lost, or across in this direction. I've used the metallic bins and lighting and benches and things. So if you come across in this direction, we've got the top scan. We're just starting off there. Here we go, spin, and use the blobby trees again. And then next to that we've used the motion simulators. So I've got a couple of different motion simulators. They've got different rides on the interior to give you, again, they're interior rides. You go inside them to ride in them. I'm really glad the fountains don't freeze. Let's spin around so you can see this nice area for our, we've got our goods hidden behind it, and then we've got our food court right here with the little fountains and all the benches around for people to sit, and we've got lots of foliage around it to keep it pretty. And I've utilised these sort of colours throughout, because the white, if everything was just white, it would be sad and boring. So the pink is a real nice contrast. I think it just makes things warmer and just nice. I just like it. So if I had the scenery, you can see what we've got here. We've got a toilet right in the corner, then we've got hot drinks, pretzels, popcorn and snow cones. So I'm not quite sure you want snow cones in the snow, but hey, it's a holiday food sort of, isn't it? And then everybody can sit just outside. You've got the motion simulators, and then here, see the pink I picked up from the building that came with the ride up the top of the hill. So this structure was already here before we started, and it had a few barrels and things around the side just for decoration. Added a bit more foliage around just to keep things happy. So that's this end of the park. We've got the food court and the transport ride to go up. So if we come back to the entrance over here, here's the entrance next to the cinema, and then if we follow the road in the opposite direction, added the weather vane, sort of western weather vane thing there for a little bit of decoration. The first ride in this direction is the Enterprise. Made that a different colour so everything's not just the same boring bland colour, and that's a really popular ride. Take a look at that. Full queue all the time. Lots of foliage to add a little bit of colour. Right opposite the Enterprise we have a Orbiter. Again, that's quite an intense ride to keep people happy. So that's a couple of intense rides we've got there. And then next door to that we've got the Go-Karts, and this is a pre-built model. So you can see that the it zooms around here, underneath, up and round, zigzags around here, back round here, up and round here, through the building over here, and then back round to the start. So there they go, down and under. So really pretty structure, really nice, keeps people very, very happy. And if you want to look for the pre-builts, that's called Go-Kart State for your pre-builts. So if we keep winding our way up here, the next ride here is the Bobsleigh. Is it Bobsleigh? Yeah, bobsled coaster. There you go. So let's follow that around the loop, and this is conforming to the terrain quite well. So it goes up a big lift hill, then utilises the terrain to ziggy-zaggy back down and around. Little tunnel there. Not quite sure about that disconnected there at the front. And then they're going to start zooming any second now. Let's see if any of them stick their hands in the air like they just don't care. Here we go. Yep, there we go. One of them's got their hands up, the one in the middle. And the one at the front. There we go. Two of them did it. Whee! Around the curly whirlies. Whee! Yeah, so you've got the full circle there. And then back down. So it's quite a short ride, but it conforms quite well to the terrain. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole of the layout. And as I said, we've got this big slope because it was a ski resort, so then I'm really out of space to build lots of stuff down the bottom. So as I said, I had to add this really long walkway to get to the top because people kept getting stuck at the top, and I'm not sure why, because the train definitely goes up and down. I'm not sure why it appeared that people couldn't come back down. Very strange. So you follow the big path or the train. There's no reason that people can't see. There are people on that train, I can see them. So I'm not quite sure why some people got stuck at the top. really can't. I even turned the cost of the transport train off, and they still kept getting stuck, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But at this top structure, again, we've got a few things here. We've got the Alpine Coaster here, again, to utilise to conform to the terrain. Here's this, just so you can see the whole of the layout. So here's the little station where they come in, and they come around a little spiral helix thing at the top here. You see, as you can see with the terrain, it's got lots of going into little tunnels and things. I just couldn't make things work well without going into tunnels, even though it is an Alpine Coaster, so it should conform to the terrain. And we come up another little lift hill here, and then we whiz around and down, and then back up here, another little lift hill to take you back to the entry station. So quite a simple little layout, but it's utilising the terrain that we've got here. And again, I've used all the simple trees, but I've added a little bit of, you've got these blobby trees again in that sort of icy colour, and then I've added, for a little bit of something different, I've added some purple colours. I've got these sort of witchy like trees, and made a few purple bushes just to add a little bit of colour, because all that white and all the green, it was just getting a little bit boring. I thought so something a little bit different was quite good. And I've used a lot of these little like fir tree things along the length of the path to keep the path quite happy. But it's a long way for people to walk, and I think we would be best. The next thing I would have done would have been to add seats along this long path, but I managed to finish up, so I didn't need to. I've got dodgems here. We managed to find a little bit of flat park, so we've got a little open square on this little tiny bit of flat area at the top of the hill. We've got the turtles in the middle, look, to make the square look quite good. Let's zoom into that, and some pumpkins and a few little things just to make this look a little bit pretty. And this is the building for the train to come back down to the top. And there's the bobsled entryway. Here's your dodgems, and then we've got another food court right here. Again, I've utilised the pink colours to match the station buildings. Let's hide the scenery so you can see what we've got. We've got toilets, we've got the goods in depot, and a rest room for the staff, and a trash chute so the staff don't have to run all the way back down the hill. We've got hot drinks, pretzels, popcorn and snow cones again, so it's exactly the same food as we have in the bottom food court. And another toilet right here behind the corner, and right in this top section here we have the tourbillon, and we've just got people coming in to get on it now. So there's the tourbillon. This is hidden sort of behind the station building, and we're right at the top of the hill. There's like a, where is that, a telecommunications tower, isn't it? I think, yeah, and that's on the edge of the building. Look, it's the access point's outside, so we can't do anything about that. We couldn't remove that or anything. And then the final thing that we've got here is the graviton, because again, that's inside, out of the elements in this cold weather, and that is everything that we have in our park. So that is my park for this particular Kaiserberg scenario for Parkitect. So let me just zoom back out again and show you what I've done. I'm quite happy with the plantings and things, and utilising these slightly different colours. I really think it looks good. Really like that. Quite fond of that. Really like this section up here. I think it looks really good. And then, as you say, we have to zoom all the way down the hill, which feels like that's such wasted space, but it's really hard to build on. And then down the bottom again, we've got these pretty buildings and things at the bottom. And over here we've got our bobsled and our extra few rides down the bottom. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. From SoftKitty99, goodbye and happy gaming!